Rather than following the dramatic last-minute winner yesterday at Old Trafford, the dust has settled a little bit. It's time to look at the 5 things that we might have learned watching United finally pick up 3 points against Brentford. In at number 1 then, and I think one of the most concerning things here is Casemiro faltering. He's been a shadow of the player that he was last season, this season. His dual success has plummeted. This is what's important, right? It's not just the eye test. You drill into the data. The big thing about Casemiro, he was a duel monster. I don't mean like there was 2 of them. I mean like when he was going into duels, the duels around the pitch, tackles, that sort of stuff, he was winning them. But his positioning has been terrible this season. I think some of that is a mitigation because of the rest of the team's performance and also who he's been partnered with in midfield. And actually some of the makeups of the teams that we've been playing have been very energetic teams. And Casemiro's kind of been left on his own in there. So I have a little bit of sympathy for him in those. And my stance for the last few weeks is like, he's playing on his own in a place where you really need to. But he is less effective factually than he was last season. He seems to be jumping into challenges. He's not really covering those pullback zones towards the front of the area. He's got a bit of a seeming loss of athleticism. He's been sloppy in possession in the first phase. There's a lot of wayward passes. There seems to be a lack of composure. Possibly a big factor in Brentford's goal, obviously before the Onana mistake. It's worrying. And it's interesting to see now. We haven't got a game for 2 weeks. When we come back, who is going to be the one the manager favours? Is it going to be Casemiro or could it be McTominay? Because I think he's got a chance of being either. And what's really interesting is either of those two, 2 different profiles of players, by the way, but McTominay's athleticism and defensive properties paired with Amrabat might not be a bad shout. If you wanted to control the ball a little bit more, I think Casemiro is who you would choose. But he also has the athleticism that McTominay has, but he doesn't quite have the same frame. And I don't think he's quite as powerful as McTominay as well. So it'd be interesting to see which one Ten Hag goes with. And speaking about McTominay, McTominay's bought Ten Hag some time there. So 2 great finishes to completely turn the game around. I am shocked that that's the first time we've scored twice in injury time. It feels like we did it a lot more than we clearly did do. Maybe it was just games won in the 80th minute and then in injury time, but whatever. He provided a bit more of an extra box threat, which I think so many of us in the ground groaned when, or watching on TV, groaned when McTominay was coming on. You're like, we're trying to win a game, and this is the card that we play. Ugh. Shows what we know. But attacking the box is something that McTominay is actually really good at. He's bought Ten Hag a little bit of time because the pressure going into an international break with the run of defeats that we've had would have been disgusting. He did mask a subpar performance, and I've seen so many people going, "You're celebrating, blah, 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 and you were shit." Yeah, we're not celebrating being shit, are we? We're celebrating the fact we got a win. Because ultimately, that's it. We don't get any credit when we're good and lose. So you don't get any credit when you're good and lose. You're not allowed to say you were good because, well, you lost still. But then you're not allowed to celebrate 2 injury time goals to get a winner. Make it make sense. It was smash and grab, but we needed it. Number 3, Onana. Had a bit of a nightmare start to his career. His distribution has fell off as I think he's kind of focusing on the other aspects of his game. It was a bit of a weak hand. He probably should have saved that goal. His shot stopping has dropped off and has become a little bit questionable. And there is a nervousness about him. Now, probably isn't helped by the fact that we've got our entire defence out. First choice defence. That's probably not helping him. I think if he was playing regularly alongside Martinez, who he's got a relationship with, you might see a better Onana. The confidence that he was walking around the place with from pre-season has evaporated. And I think that's a massive problem. Because I think he is a player that thrives on the confidence. I think his attitude's good, though. And I wonder if, he can start to get some clean sheets and we can start to get that first choice defence back if suddenly Onana just doesn't look that good as well. But yeah, he's been a bit of a concern of late. I think people are forgetting quite how poor De Gea was last season. And even against Brentford last season. There was some serious clangers from De Gea, and I don't think Onana's even reached that level of clanger just yet. He's just not been the 8 and 9 out of 10 force that we all kind of wanted him to be. And yesterday was poor. Number 4, the coming weeks are huge. So Ten Hag gets a little bit of a respite. He gets to go into this international break with at least a little bit of focus. Not on him as much as it could do, a bit of breathing room. But the performances drastically need to improve. And I'm not sure what our strongest 11 is any longer. And that's not even talking about injuries and stuff. We're going to have a lot more of a difficult run of fixtures coming up. We need to build on that win and hope that it's able to lift us and lift the players, and hope that we can come out the other side of international break looking a little bit refreshed. If we can galvanise the players, obviously some are going to go for international breaks, some will stick around and work. The next couple of months will determine United's season. Not only because we pretty much need to go flawless now in the Champions League to qualify, which we're capable of doing, I believe. We're going to need to be very, 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 very good in the Champions League. We're also going to need to start climbing back up the table in the league. These next 2 months are going to be absolutely crucial. Absolutely crucial to that. And finally, normally I like to end these on a high, but there's not really many highs. So it's still disjointed and there's work to do. And I know I sound like a broken record here, but there's such a lack of movement, such a lack of fluidity. The link play is not really there. Sometimes a bit single pass in possession. Everything looks individualistic. The lack of third man runs is disappointing to me. We're not a cohesive unit outside of possession. I think there has to be a huge change and shift, but I'm not sure where that is going to come from. And it feels like there's a lot just placed on hope that the time will turn it around. I don't have any evidence that it's gonna. It's just kind of, I hope that we can turn it around. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and get your comments on yesterday's game and all of the above in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.